Well, good morning, everyone. Take your Bibles to First Corinthians chapter number 9 this morning. First Corinthians chapter number 9, and we're going to talk about just how loving we ought to be to those that we know are in need of the saving grace of God. They need Jesus. And the Apostle Paul kind of gives us the way we ought to approach giving that gospel to them in First Corinthians chapter number 9. In fact, let me just read it to you and then give you some thoughts about it. Verse number 19, it says, "For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more. And unto the Jews I became as a Jew, and that I might gain the Jews. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law." So he's saying, hey, these people have a certain way of living, and so I'm going to be respectful of that certain way of living so I can share with them the love of Christ. And verse number 21, he says, "To them that are without law, as without law." Now, he doesn't say that I'm going to go ahead and break the law of God. He says, I'm going to understand and recognize that they have a totally different way of living that I'm accustomed to. And I'm going to not let their lack of God's law in their life stop me from sharing the gospel with them, loving on them enough for them to know the love of Christ. So he says, being not without law to God, but under the law of Christ, that I might gain them that are without law. To the weak I became I weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I may by all means save some. Listen to this next verse. "And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you." He wants to see people saved. So we should be willing to do what it takes to reach the lost. Now, he makes sure we frame that we don't become disobedient to Christ, and we don't reject or neglect the law of Christ, but we certainly don't subject them to our laws without Christ. So we just come with the gospel. We don't try to change them or tell them how bad they are. We just let them know that there's a better way, that has an answer to their emptiness, and it's Jesus. God has an answer to this striving that they have in their life to find something to fulfill them. We know what it is. It's Jesus. And so imagine what would happen if we were sensitive to the situation of the lost people around us instead of focusing on their failures so that we could uphold Jesus to them. Here's the thing. Let's just reveal Jesus to them. If you were in our Sunday morning service, you heard that the best way we can do that is to love people, to display love to those that are we're already connected to, so that they'll want what we have. They'll see that it's a better way. So I want to encourage you. Paul said he was going to be whatever it took to reach the lost. He wasn't going to break God's law to do it, but he was certainly going to remove any obstacle that he might have in his own prejudice and his own way of living so that he could reach people that live totally different lives. And so that's what we ought to do. So I encourage you today, figure out a way to let people that don't agree with you, let them just go ahead and have their way of living for now so that you can share Jesus with them. What they really need is Jesus, and then Jesus will change their lives. And so let's get out there and let's be that believer, that bright shining light that our world needs so that they can come to know Jesus personally. Have yourselves a great day.